We are from the group 5. We will present about the conference interpreting.
So, the first thing that I want to talk about is what is conference interpreting. So, conference interpreting is a specialist skill which allows communication between the speaker and a group of audience members. And what are the tasks for the conference interpreter itself? So, for the conference interpreters, is tasked with listening to the context of what is being said and reproducing it correctly in the target language while maintaining the integrity of the message. Next. And what kind of conference do they usually hold? So, conference interpreting is carried out at multilingual meetings such as representative of national governments and then international organizations or non-governmental organizations and etc. Next. So this is a conference interpreter is required to have these following rules such as carry out in real time or we call it as simultaneously, and then must prepare thoroughly for every assignment. And then interpreters are also required to receive, understand, process, and reconstruct information at extreme speed in real time. And the next slide will be explained by Ka'ana.
And this is using mix of different interpretation styles. There is two modes of interpretation. There is simultaneous mode and consecutive mode. In simultaneous mode, when someone is delivering a speech or a group is debating an issue, the interpreter will use the simultaneous style. In simultaneous mode, the interpreter will work in a booth. The translation result will be conveyed through the microphone. For the consecutive mode, when their employer wishes to communicate with a person who does not speak common language, they will switch over to interpreting consecutively. For consecutive mode is a mode of interpreting in which the speaker makes a speech or says a few sentences whilst the interpreter takes notes. And this is the notes. As per their employer's requirements, they will switch between the simultaneous and consecutive style of interpretation throughout the assignment. Next. And this is the simultaneous interpretation example.
The decree
pengelolaan hutan itu diberikan kepada
of
rakyat.
indigenous forest management should be handed over to the indigenous community themselves.
Kemarin telah kita
And
berikan
yesterday we
di
have
Pulau Pisau, di Kabupaten Pulau Pisau,
The interpreter is interpreting President Jokowi's speech.
Pulang Pisau
dan
is
berikan pada kelompok-kelompok tani.
12,000 acres. We have
Dan
handed over
pada hari ini,
to the farmer group, and
SK
today
tentang
another
hutan
decree
adat juga telah
on
pecah
indigenous
telur,
forest
pecah
recognition
dan akan berlanjut terus.
have been started for the first time, and hopefully it will be
Dan tentu
continued
saja
in the future. And also
dengan SK ini
with this decree of establishment,
masyarakat bisa mengelola selamanya dan di dalam kita nanti akan ada penyesuaian
will maintain the forest
dan
forever,
kriteria baru
and
yaitu
in the map
mengenai
there
hutan
will be some
adat.
adjustment,
Ini penting
a
sekali
new criteria.
karena yang ada di Kanola
Highlights the
ada
indigenous forest species very
12,77.
As what I said before, the interpreter will work in a booth and interpreting as soon as Mr. Jokowi gives his speech in such language. Next.
The decree
This is consecutive interpreting example. There is two speakers here, Mr. Obama as a president of USA and Mr. Maliki as a prime minister of Iraq.
Hello everybody. Before I discuss the meeting that I just had with Prime Minister Maliki, I just want to make a brief statement about Afghanistan. Hello everybody.
This is consecutive interpreting example. There is two speakers here, Mr. Obama as the President of USA, and Mr. Maliki as the Prime Minister of Iran.
Hello, everybody. Before I discuss the meeting that I just had with the Prime Minister and the wide-ranging discussion about the continuing progress that Iraq is making, we have seen in the last several months a consolidation of a commitment to democratic politics inside of Iraq. We are very interested, both of us, in making sure that Iraq has an election law that is completed on time so that elections can take place on time in January. This trip is that inside of Iraq, there are obviously enormous opportunities for our countries to do business together. And so I just want to congratulate Prime Minister Maliki on what I'm confident will be a successful conference and to reemphasize my administration's full support for all the steps that can be taken so that Iraq can not only be a secure place and a democratic country, but also a place where people can do business, people can find work, families can make a living. And
While Mr. Obama giving his speech, the interpreter takes notes what the Mr. Obama said to Mr. Maliki into target language.
أنا سعيد بأن ألتقي برئيس الوزراء العراقي المالكي معنا اليوم وتناولنا عددا من القضايا لا سيما التقدم الذي يستمر بإحرازه في العراق ونحن أولاء التزامه من أجل مسار اليوم إلى أفق اقتصادي وتجاري يعثر فيه الناس على فرص للأعمال وأيضا
يعبر عن أننا غادرنا وانتهينا من قضايا الأمنية والتعاون العسكري الذي كان هو سيد الموقف الداخل إلى الجانب الاقتصادي وتطوير.
And vice versa, the interpreter also taking notes while Mr. Maliki said his speech and will interpret to English.
ديمقراطي تعددي قائم على رسم في عملية التنمية وتطوير الواقع العراقي وإعطاء شركات الأمن.
Together more than 1,000 business entrepreneurs and a very distinguished high-level Iraqi delegation. I have also discussed with President Obama the various issues and the fact that our relations today have moved along and not only confined to the security cooperation, but to
For the next slide will be presented by Sadika.
Next, we have 3 points on how to become a conference interpreter. The first point is to start with hefty dose of natural ability. It means that natural ability to speak both in target language and source language, but and also the natural ability to do public speaking. But natural ability can always be improved through training and experience. And next, we have the second point, which is the graduate level education. It means we have to get the certificate and have to graduate college to become a professional conference interpreter. And the last point is lots of experience, as experience is the best teacher. Next, please. Next slide here. What set conference interpreters apart from other interpreters? Due to the diverse skill required of a conference interpreter, it's clear that they have a harder job to do than many other interpreters who offer their service in simultaneous and consecutive languages or consecutive styles. Although the advent of multilingual meetings has reduced the consecutive style of interpreting in the last 20 years, so they don't use as many as the consecutive styles as before, so it means that the interpreters have to work harder as interpreting in simultaneous mode is much more harder. Next, please. Here we have a 6 point on what sets the conference interpreter apart. The first point is quick adaptation with the environment, which is true, and extreme psychological resiliency. It means that they have to be ready, whatever the pressure that their surrounding gave them. They have to be psychologically ready. And next is calm and collected. They can't be panicked even though they say something wrong. They just have to be calm and say sorry. And then quick thinking, as expected from an interpreter. Next, rapid problem solving. Of course, have to face many problems at the field, and fast thought process is really needed when we face a problem and we have to solve it on the spot. Next, please. Here we have the International Association of Conference Interpreter. It's in French. I can't pronounce it. Sorry. It's where the interpreters, especially conference interpreter from all over the world, is in association, so they can share it. And it's also give update on what the conference interpreter should do and should not do, as the times is always running, so the interpreters also have to update. Okay, that's the next slide.
Thank you for your attention.